All right, we're going to get started here. Thank you, everyone, for joining me this morning. This is going to be the most short and sweet webinar that you've ever hopped on because I think that content creators are a really important part of social media strategy for 2023. And I just want to share a few reasons why I think that is and some considerations that you can take if you're planning on hosting content creators this year. Um, First things first, my name is Ellen. I am the owner of Hello Social Co., which is a social media marketing agency that's based in Belmont, Pennsylvania. We work with clients nationwide to manage their social media on their behalf or help them place content creators, in their destination to help amplify the work that they're doing. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today. So before we can really dig into that, we want to talk about how influencers and content creators are different. So let's start with influencers. When you hire an influencer, you're really paying for exposure more than anything. In an influencer partnership or um, in the content that's provided for an influencer, the content for the account is usually provided by the client. And that content typically includes a budget for that account, that influencer's account, to promote or sponsor a post. So these influencers might never have a real or authentic interaction with a brand, but their following or their influence, if you will justify the cost of that brand partnership in many cases. Influencers are also a little bit different because they tend to have a higher following. Now, we do caution you not to get too hung up on the number of followers that an influencer has because quantity and engagement rate are two very different things. Um, but it's something to consider when you're hosting. A content creator, on the other hand, they're producing content on behalf of your brand. So through a content creation partnership, these users are showing off their experience or showing off a purchase and providing you as the client content that you own and then can use in some way. Hello Social, our agency, uses content creators primarily to produce what we call paid UGC or user generated content. And this is actually a bit of a marriage between these two user types. So, a marriage between influencers and content creators. So, I have an example shown here. This is a partnership that we did with a client. The client in this case is the PA Wilds, and the content creator is Emily of Scaling the Globe. So in this case, the user was posting their own content on their own accounts and then therefore using that influence. But we also use the collaborator feature to make sure that that content was accounted for on the client's accounts as well. So um, this was beneficial in a few ways because, we're expanding the reach of that content significantly. We're able to make sure that Emily's followers, as well as the PA Wilds followers, are able to see that content. But ultimately, the goal for this account is to increase tourism to that region of Pennsylvania. And by showcasing the opportunity for travel to Emily's followers that are primarily based in Philadelphia, that's really going to go a long way towards reaching that goal. So a few things that you want to consider if you're considering hosting a content creator. First and foremost, what is the goal of the partnership? There could be so many different goals. It could be merely to get more people aware of your destination. And brand awareness is a huge and important goal for hosting content creators because it's important to remember that in a marketing tactic like this, it's about the long haul, right? So we can't expect a content creator to come to our destination and post about it and for a traveler to show up tomorrow. This is kind of a long-term branding campaign, if you will, to create that top of mind awareness for your destination or the experience that you offer so that when it comes time for people to make their travel decisions or make decisions about something they want to do over the weekend, let's say, your destination is top of mind because of this partnership. So that's something to take into consideration. But other goals could be unrelated to brand awareness. They could be merely for purchasing decisions. So I'll use Emily as an example again. She works with a lot of different destination brands, and sometimes after she visits that destination, she will do a little roundup of like merch that's available from that region that directly impacts sales for that destination brand. So there's a lot of different goals that you can set for your work together, and it's important to get clear about what those goals are. The next thing to take into consideration is what kind of content you hope to see. Um, so, right now, reels are super popular on Instagram. A lot of creators are creating reels. Um, a lot of creators are also only offering static feed posts at this point, so only images. Um, are you hoping for them to do a live update in their stories while they're in town? These are all important factors to consider and ultimately can impact the budget that you have. So I'll talk about the budget in a little bit, but it's important to understand what you hope to get content wise out of the partnership. This is a big one for me. Are there others that can benefit from the partnership and maybe even share some of the costs? So, for example, if a creator is coming to your destination, is there a lodging accommodation that makes sense to partner with on the opportunity? Is there a restaurant that might want to host them as well? How can we make that a really wholesome experience that everybody's kind of buying into in a way, but also then decreases the cost for the hosting of that content creator. Those partnerships can go a long way, and honestly, the more that content creators have to do when they visit an area, the more impactful that is for your entire region as a whole. And of course, budget. Budget is going to be a huge consideration for hosting an influencer or a content creator. And honestly, there's no sort of industry standard for budgets for content creators right now. So you could get a proposal from a creator that, let's say, a static feed post is $200. You could get a proposal that it's $3,000. A ton of different factors go into budgeting for creators, but um, going in with a clear understanding of what you're willing to spend is going to be important. So then you have a way to kind of vet the creators as you're going through the process and make sure that it's not a pain point for your organization. Then it's important to remember too when you're budgeting that the content creator piece, the actual content, is just one part of the budget. It'll also often be the biggest part of the budget, but you need to take into consideration that most creators expect for their travel costs to be comped. They expect for their accommodations to be comped or booked on their behalf. They expect sometimes some different gift cards or opportunities for a meal stipend. So taking all of that into consideration, you'll have kind of a separate budget for the actual hosting and the experience than you will for the content creation itself. And then it's also important to just make sure that the experience is great. Um, it's you are hiring somebody for a service, so it doesn't always feel natural to provide great customer service, but um, great customer service does go a long way when you're working with somebody. And I would say more often than not, a content creator is willing to go above and beyond if they feel like they have developed a good relationship with a brand, if they feel comfortable with that brand, and if they feel like they have a clear understanding of what's going on in the area. And speaking of understanding what's going on, an a content plan is so important. I have heard from a lot of creators over the last few months that are telling me that oftentimes they'll get into a brand partnership deal and um, kind of the budget is set and that then the conversation kind of stops. So they're left kind of wondering what are the goals? What is the client actually looking for? Where are the places that we should visit when we're in town? So creating a clear content plan is going to be really important. And I break my content plans down in two different columns when I deliver a proposal to a creator. So on one column, I'm saying here are the required deliverables. Um, so based on the account niche and what we're hoping to get out of the partnership, you have to go snowshoeing at Bald Eagle State Park. You must plan to post from this brewery. You must plan to do this. So those are the like set in stone details that we're paying attention to. But then I also have another content, or I'm sorry, another column on our proposal that says, um, based on your account niche, here are some other things you might be interested in during your stay. So, if you love snowshoeing, you might love going over to Tussey Mountain and going skiing for the day. You might love to check out this cool restaurant that I really love. Just giving people those ideas and giving them kind of empowering them to create content on their own if they so choose. Make sure that you are being clear about what accounts are supposed to be tagged and also how many posts you're expecting to see over what length of time. So some partnerships are really clear. A content creator's media kit might show exactly what that post cadence might be. For others, you might need to determine that. And like I said, make sure that they have a list of all of the handles, account handles that you expect them to tag or collaborate with during their stay. Um, Really important tip for success is to make sure to have a content or a contract in place. This is protection for both your brand and for the creator. So we've agreed upon the fees, we've agreed upon the terms, we've agreed upon the deliverables, and now we're just we have this document in place that says that we have agreed upon all these things, and that's going to be really important. And that should also set expectations for when and how creators are going to be paid because there's nothing worse than like an awkward situation after a partnership that's like, I didn't get paid for this. What now? And then finally, hope for the best and plan for the worst because just like any other traveler can run into issues when they're visiting your destination or coming to your experience, this can happen with content creators as well. And I wanted to share a little story about some hiccups that we had with the partnership that we handled. And it was like a perfect storm of nonsense. But I think that in this case, a great customer service, like I mentioned, went a long way to continue to create a lasting partnership with this creator. So, Brit Around Town, Brittany is a really cool content creator that's based in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. She focuses on everything local. So, she was actually coming here to my hometown of Bellefonte to work with some clients that we have here locally. And I just had a baby. She came here 2 weeks, I think, after I gave birth. So I wasn't totally in tune with everything that was going on. Um, she was scheduled to come here on a Friday night, and silly me, who does not really care about sports, I know that's a crime, forgot that it was a Penn State football weekend here in Happy Valley. There were some issues with her accommodations. She couldn't get a hold of me. Because she couldn't get a hold of me, she ended up driving almost 2 hours away to find a different hotel room. Um, then like different experiences as part of the package just weren't lining up correctly because of the changes. So there was a lot that went wrong in like a 48-hour period. But we worked together to figure out how to make it right. We changed the content plan a little bit on the fly. We just kind of went above and beyond with this creator to make it beneficial for both of us, despite kind of crappy circumstances. And I think Bert would tell you that she still had a really great time during her experience and she still went above and beyond. So, she still posted more posts than we had contracted for. She visited a lot of local businesses, which is important to me. So she's kind of injecting money into our local economy while she was here. And like I said, that customer service just went a really long way. So just keep in mind that hiccups are going to come up. They are definitely going to happen. And the best thing you can do is make it really easy to communicate with your content creator. Oftentimes they're going to be doing stuff after hours. So making sure that they have somebody to get a hold of if they run into issues and if they can't get a hold of you, who that backup person might be, because that's something that I forgot about that weekend. And then, kind of finally, I wanted to make sure that it's important for you to understand as a brand what your usage rights are for this content that's created. And this is something that's kind of uh, a new topic of discussion as it pertains to this world and as it pertains to social media. So, it used to kind of be that social media images were always fair game, and there were definitely some nuances within there, but it's becoming more clear, and people are getting more. They're setting more boundaries, I would say, when it comes to protecting the content they create and how that is reused. So it's important to understand then, when you're putting these proposals together, accepting contracts, what you're actually getting out of the package. So, are you able to post this photo only one time on your social media? Are you able to put it on your website for a certain amount of time? I just received a proposal from a content creator who they have their social media packages, but then if you want to also add those photos to your website, you can pay for a 3 month, a 6 month, or a 1 year contract to do that. And then it's expected that when that license agreement is over, that website photo will then be removed. So it's just important to get clear about those things before you get into a situation where you thought you had rights to some content that you maybe didn't. All right. I want to talk a little bit about the Experience Creator Collective. But before I dive into that, I just wanted to give an opportunity for anybody to ask a question if they had one. Okay. If there are no questions, then I always lose my chat bar too. Let me make sure there's nothing hiding in the chat bar, which I still can't find. Ooh. Got too many windows. Okay. Well, I'm going to move on then to talking about the Experience Creator Collective a little bit. So, as a business owner that hosts a lot of content creators and pairs these content creators with our clients, I have found over the years that there is no place for real creators to meet with real brands. And when I say that, I mean that there are gigantic influencer platforms that exist in the world that, if I'm a gigantic brand like Nike, I can connect with a gigantic influencer like some celebrity. And that's cool. Those platforms are really helpful for that reason. But there's nowhere really for the little guys to meet up with each other and figure out how to work together. And more specifically, there's nothing that is exclusively experience driven. So we decided to build that. We decided to put together this platform that's going to connect brands with quality and authentic content creators. And what's really cool about this platform is that we are vetting all of the content creators that come onto it. So content creators are able to start a membership on that platform, and they're able to be seen on the directory then by brands that are also members, but they're able to apply for verification with us. And that's a process that they go through with us for account quality. We check out their engagement rate. We make sure that there is no like crazy misspellings or, there could be an accurate misrepresentation of your brand if you were to work with them, and kind of just go through this vetting process to make sure that everybody is a really quality content creator on the platform. Um, we also are offering, as part of this, cooperative hosting opportunities. So, kind of like I was talking about how somebody could come to a destination and also visit this restaurant and also to go to this attraction. Um, you know, the more brands that we have on this platform, the more opportunities that we can help build in for those hosting opportunities and kind of take the hard part out of booking out of it. Um, and then, as part of being a member of this platform, you'll have opportunities to access a ton of educational resources. So, for example, this webinar will live on the platform forever, and you'll get to access other educational resources and just resources that might help you um, host content creators as well. So, we're going to have contract templates on there. We're going to have content proposal templates on there, a lot of different things that could help you through this process. So, um, just take a look at the profile, or I'm sorry, take a look at the website, see if it's a good fit for you. If you do have any questions about the Experience Creator Collective, feel free to reach out to me. And like I said, that was a short and sweet little session. So feel free to reach out to us. My email is on here, and also our favorite social media platform is Instagram. So feel free to follow us on there and give us a shout on there. Thank you all for being here today.